The Cameroon government has noted the rather embarrassing attitude of Cameroonians following the partial relaxation of the restrictive measures, warning all and sundry in the country that barrier measures are the only sure means that can keep the country safe from the pangs of COVID-19. 1 month after its launching, by the Ministries of Basic and Secondary Education, in conjunction with the Cameroon Radio Television, the distance learning exercise on radio and television are making great inroads in households. The Archbishop of Yaoundé Metropolitan Province commits Cameroonians to prayers in the ongoing fight against COVID-19, saying prayers that many may fall under the hands of humanity, but God alone never fails. Those are our top stories. Hello, welcome to the program. I am Ben Meno Pufong. The Cameroon government has noted with some degree of indignation the sudden drop in the consistency of Cameroonians in the respect of the barrier measures that were intended to slow the spread of the virus in the country. While expressing satisfaction with the results that the preliminary measures have been obtaining in this great fight, they have, however, called on Cameroonians to remain steadfast in the application of these measures so that together the country can come out victorious in this anti-COVID battle. Sisako Tamko reports.
It's another weekly video conference coordinated by Prime Minister John Gutter, bringing on board 5 ministers on the platform. Public Health Minister Manuna Malashi gave an update of the evolution of the pandemic since the announcement to partially relax restrictions after a high number of reported patient recoveries from COVID-19 and relatively low mortality rate. Coupled with the desire to mitigate adverse effects on leisure and transport businesses, measures were eased to extend closing time, but customers and users must continue to respect and adhere to social distancing and wearing of face masks. As of this day, the number of cases stands at 2,265, 1,221 declared ill, and 86 deaths. Health Minister warned of an increase in cases if citizens do not keep following government social distance guidance. Minister of Scientific Research and Innovation, Madeleine Chouin, gave a progress report on local production of medicines and testing kits. Missions to produce the 2 drugs used to follow up COVID-19 cases have been set up and tested, and workers have been trained. External Relations Minister Mbela Login, in collaboration with Alamin Ousmane May of the Economy, presented all necessary actions taken to benefit from the assistance promised by the French President to African countries within the context of COVID-19. It's also likely that the minister elaborate on the moves to repatriate nationals stranded abroad who will be returning Friday. Finance Minister Louis-Paul Motazir presented the level of application of relief measures in support of enterprises decided by the head of state. 25 billion has been earmarked for clearance of VAT credits, of which 15 billion has been made available and the rest to be available next week. The minister also seized the occasion to explain the country's access to credit facility at the IMF, which offers in support for health in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic.
In the government's recent communication on measures concerning the coronavirus, the Prime Minister, head of government, called on all public workers who had abandoned their duty post under the pretext of confinement due to the COVID-19 pandemic to return to work without delay. In an effort to apply the state instructions, government ministries have adopted stringent measures to recalcitrant workers who would fail to comply with the Prime Ministerial injunction. Cynthia Sabtala sojourned in some of these public administrations today to find out how these measures are playing out.
It's no time to confuse administrative leave for confinement. After the head of government requested that all public workers head back to their offices at the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, the minister published this circular on May 6th calling civil servants who have taken advantage of the barrier measures to desert offices that disciplinary sanctions will follow.
Confinement doesn't mean deserting your post of duty. We have told management to be strict and indicate who is present and absent. We have an online platform and all collaborators must indicate their presence.
A warning that was immediately followed with actions.
Yesterday we received some administrative officials who inspected the offices and found out that some 2 management staff were absent. They will be sanctioned and used as example for others.
Elsewhere, the scenario was entirely different. Behind each door, a staff was on seat, with officials assuring that it was essential to ensure and maintain continuity during the pandemic.
Since last Monday, after the communication of the Prime Minister, all the management staff of Vidéo are present.
With the health crisis, many public administrations have reorganized work, encouraged telecommunication, and even created online platforms where office matters are discussed. For those who delay to return to their offices, it is certain that sanctions await them.
1 month after its inception, the e-learning exercise launched by the Cameroon Radio Television is largely being appreciated by students, pupils and parents across the board. The initiative, induced by the ravaging impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, have availed educational establishments, especially those preparing students for end-of-course examinations, to catch up with their syllabuses while waiting for classes to effectively start. Alice May has an evaluation.
Determining the validity and invalidity by the means of the vendor.
This is the 8th lesson taught by Alice Celestine on logic since the e-lesson began on CRTV. The philosophy and logic teacher teaches once a week on TV and equally once on radio.
I can be proud to say that the teachers who are doing the lessons, they do it very well. Then concerning the students who are in their different corners, I think that if we were to write the GCE today, they will be up to the task.
The e-lesson program consists of all subjects at the primary and secondary levels in both English and French. Lessons begin as from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day.
Read it carefully and provide answers to their questions.
Things are going well. I was very surprised by the capacity of teachers to adapt to that new method of learning. And today they are doing it like a game. We are satisfied.
Even though the feedback has been positive, some concerns were nevertheless raised.
Difficulty was to prepare the technical crew and prepare teachers for that type of learning.
Most teachers have completed their syllabuses for the year and are carrying on with revision questions. The Cameroon Radio Television, on its part, is ready to continue with this program while waiting for schools to resume.
Bit by bit, students and pupils are taking great interest in the distant learning exercise that the CRTV is running both on radio and television. Jointly initiated by the Ministries of Basic and Secondary Education, the initiative is largely being saluted by the learners as one that will help them catch up with time as COVID-19 persists. Ewan Epole went to some homes in Yaoundé to gauge how these youngsters are following up with this initiative.
Pupils and students are gradually getting used to radio and TV lessons offered by primary and secondary school teachers.
Follow the lessons in the CRTV, the English sections on Tuesday, Thursdays and Saturdays. The lesson starts as from 6 o'clock. We follow it regularly. They teach mostly what we have done and some revisions of what we have not done. It is very effective.
I'm going to write my GC ordinary level this year. And since the lesson started, especially chemistry and geography, I make sure to be attentive. Teachers they explain very well to students.
The parents who play a primordial role in assisting their children at home have lauded the move by CRTV and the Ministries of Basic and Secondary Education.
I would like to thank CRTV very much for that initiative. Children are not be going to school, and there are some who are in examination classes. So at home we try to know the timetable, and then we remind them and make sure that whatsoever they have to do, they do it before that time, and when that time reaches, they stop whatsoever that they're doing.
It's a very big idea CRTV is doing. The encouragement I give to my children is I do everything possible to let them, first of all, listen in the morning in the radio, and then watch when the TV program is going on.
The radio and TV lessons organized during this period, when schools are closed because of the coronavirus, will enable the pupils and students to better prepare for their official and, of course, examinations.
In the North region, learners who have been following the school lessons on the CRTV airwaves have also appreciated the daily efforts of the teachers in imparting knowledge during this long and uncertain period of wait. Parents and guardians assert that the timeliness of the initiative has been instrumental in keeping students and pupils study conscious, as we hear in this report with Louisa Akwanka Achata.
The Dona Mola household in the regional capital Garwa, as well as the majority of others throughout the North region, have morphed into veritable classrooms, with schoolgoers within different age ranges taking turns to settle in front of their television or radio sets. The attention paid is rapt and sustained, with the lessons dispensed through the various platforms of the Cameroon radio television praised as profound, comprehensive, and the quality impeccable. I listen to lessons each day on CRTV, and these help me to improve on my comprehension. The number which appears on the screen permits me to pose questions when I have them. Parents and guardians hail the commitment of sectoral ministries and other stakeholders and affirm the suitability and worthwhileness of the initiative. With the suspension of normal classes, CRTV's adapting the lessons for our children is ideal for us so that the children do not remain bored or idle. The subjects and courses dispensed on air and online, they assert, keeps their children study conscious and up to speed with their school curricula, as well as fine-tuned preparations for official examinations.
The Director General of the Cameroon Textile Producing Company, CICAM, says his company has produced the special fabric that respects the norms of quality special facial masks to curb the spread of COVID-19 in Cameroon. Mr. Edouard Eba Abada is calling on those sewing face masks to use this special fabric found at Ndokoti in Douala and the Avenue Kennedy here in Yaoundé to multiply the production of these preventive gadgets. Saliye Benyanyoki reports from Douala.
CICAM's production of the special fabric considered suitable to make face masks that protect against COVID-19 transmission is its own contribution to the production of 15 million masks prescribed by government. The cotton producing company Ecotech supplies the raw material which CICAM is processing to the final product.
There you saw fabrics coming from Garwa. It's almost yellow. And now it is white and ready to be sold.
At the CICAM production unit in Ndokoti, it is the fabric for face masks that have been processed to meet the demand which they believe is going to increase in the days ahead. Those specialized in sewing the face mask to help reduce the spread of COVID-19 are expected to use the CICAM fabric which is suitable.
This fabric has no chemical product which can affect the health of human beings, of citizens.
It might have taken time, but today the right fabric for the production of masks is available.
We are selling fabrics for those who want to sew the masks.
The fabric of 3 qualities are sold at Sikam shops in Dokoti, Douala, and Avenue Kennedy in Yaoundé.
A majority of tailors and seamstresses in the nation now seem to have converted from their normal activities to specialize in the production of face masks. With the scarcity of the disposable masks, these needle workers are now making good deals in the heat of the pandemic, selling locally made face masks to those in need of these preventive gadgets. Victor Siga toured some of the shops in Yaoundé and now reports that there seem to be some brisk business out there.
Sewing machines churning out great quantities of face masks here, and clients streaming in and making their choices, all on a common battlefront against COVID-19. This is the atmosphere that welcomes you to many tailoring workshops in Yaoundé.
What makes business now to us is the face mask. The number of customers for clothes have reduced, and with the high demand for face masks, we make enough profit.
Due to the Ramadan, the demand for dresses and face masks are high. But apart from that, demand for masks is higher since the outbreak of the COVID-19.
Like the ordinary industrial face mask, the local fabrics are made from microfiber, cotton lining and elastics.
We manufacture over 1,000 masks daily, yet we are unable to satisfy our clients. The demand is really high.
These face cover producers, however, say the work is not a bed of roses.
We do not gain producing face masks like when sewing dresses, unless you produce in large quantities.
Despite the rather satisfying economic performance granted them by the COVID-19, the coronavirus remains an enemy to mankind that must be kept at bay.
The Yaoundé Metropolitan Archbishop has called on Catholic Christians to deepen their faith in Christ as the world struggles to seek a lasting solution to the silent but life-claiming corona pandemic. His Grace Jean Barga was speaking during a Christian Mass celebrated at the Our Lady of Victory Cathedral, downtown Yaoundé, to implore the Almighty to intervene in the struggle that is threatening to exterminate the whole of humanity. Romeo Kenya reports.
A Chrism Mass celebrated by the Yaoundé Metropolitan Archbishop, His Grace Jean Barga. The sermon is culminated with the observation of the National Novena Week. The prelate calls on faithful to strengthen their faith, seeking Christ's true face, as the world is highly menaced by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Today we decide to celebrate the Day of Priest. In this moment, we have also blessed holy oils that we use for the sacraments. In the same time, we have celebrated Mass for the end of this pandemic. In the occasion of the National Novena of Prayers, it is a great moment for us to recognize that. At that moment, we need the help of God.
For Christians to attain this objective, they will need virtues of humility.
We need discipline to respect all the barrier measures to be protected to this pandemic.
The Pontifical High Mass took place under the strict respect of the social distancing measure.
Okay, we now head you to the Public Health Emergency Center out there in Yaoundé, in this nation's capital, for the latest news on this killer pandemic. Gilbert Ongene, who is standing by, you tell us that there have been some number of activities going on out there, but tell us, what is the latest?
Hello, Benmeno Pufong. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. The good news out here, as you rightly said, is that there are 200 new cases of recovery from the coronavirus today in Cameroon. Yesterday we were at 1,021 cases of recovery, and today we had 1,221 cases of recovery from the COVID-19. Of course, that's very good news for all of us out here. Now we have as guest tonight Mrs. Manuela Ngo-Bakale, who is of course the Public Information Officer here at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Gilbert.
Well, we are talking today of the management of the quarantine. When a person is admitted for 14 days, the isolation ward, how should this period be managed?
First of all, when a patient is quarantined, he must tell himself that it is not a prison. No, that's the first thing you should say to yourself. I'm not in a prison. I'm a suspect case, I'm a contact case, I'm just at home. For me, it's time to monitor myself. I monitor myself to look whether there are some symptoms, such as fever, cough, difficulties to breathe, tiredness, and so on. Then, it is not easy psychologically because you are in a limited space. Then you have to manage this period. So during this period, you have some activities that you could practice. You can do some stretching, you can practice reading, watching TV, writing, drawing, and painting. Why not? You have to look for some activities in which you are feeling good. There is another thing that you should do. It is have a good balanced diet. You should eat things that make you feeling happy. Maybe you like fruits, so eat a lot of fruits. Avoid or limit the time you spend on social medias. That's for a simple reason. It is to avoid fake news. If you have any preoccupation, you have to look for a person with whom you can discuss. Good person will not affect your mood because it's good for you to be in a good mood.
Last question to you, Madam Manuela Ngo-Bakale. Now, you are at the isolation ward. Are you allowed to receive guests, family members? And if you need towels or dresses there, how does that take place?
Well, as you know, due to the highest level of contamination of COVID-19, the isolation places are forbidden of access. But once you need things, you could need a computer or towel, as you say, there are some special measures that are taken. They are called those of the team of WASH, hygienists, so that they will disinfect all the objects before they are going to give them to you, to make sure that in any way there is no way to spread the disease.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Manuela Ngo-Bakale, Public Information Officer here at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. The last thing to retain, Benmeno Pufong, is that 1 in every 5 calls, just 1 in every 5 calls that comes to this center on 1510 is related to the COVID-19. That's very telling of the fact that Cameroonians still think that it's something to joke about. So Cameroonians should be sensitized that when they call here, it should be for a serious issue concerning the coronavirus pandemic. Over to you, Benmeno Pufong.
Thank you very much, Gilbert Ongene, for those updates there at the Public Health Emergency Center. And thank you out there for staying glued onto the 7:30 news on the Cameroon Radio Television, the CRTV. We are broadcasting live from Yaoundé. A huge consignment of the most recent COVID-19 rapid test kits donated to the Cameroonian people by President Paul Biya has been handed over to the Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganje by Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganje to the Minister of Public Health Manauda Malachi. The tests, which Cameroon is said to be one of the few African countries to have at this point in time, provides results within 15 minutes with a very little error margin. Moki Edwin Kinzeka was there and now tells us more.
They are armed with protective gowns and aprons against COVID-19, ready for the towns and hinterlands to combat the coronavirus. The medical staff members have an additional impetus from the reception of rapid testers to detect COVID-19 in 15 minutes. The gifts from the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, were handed over by Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganje to the Minister of Public Health, Manauda Malachi.
When you come to the health facilities, the personnel who could very fastly have your status, and it's very easy to take care of you.
The coronavirus test kit, produced by a major South Korean manufacturer, was first granted emergency approval by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Paul Atanganje and Manauda Malachi said the U.S. immediately introduced it to use, and Cameroon has taken its turn to purchase the kits.
15 minutes, everything is clarified. You know if you are negative or positive. And President Paul Biya insisted that we must go and look for this rapid test kit because he thought that it would be the best way or the most efficient way to fight against the COVID-19.
Ministers Paul Atanganje and Manauda Malachi called on Cameroonians to make good use of the kits and stay safe of the killer virus.
Healthcare personnel tackling the coronavirus situation in Vidéo in the southwest region of Cameroon have been given the presidential package to handle cases of infected persons. It was distributed by the Governor Bernard Okalia-Bilai after a COVID-19 coordination meeting in Limbe. Hombo Suzy Monjoa is in Vidéo.
No coronavirus cases have been recorded in the southwest region in the past week. This was made known during an anti-COVID evaluation meeting that took place in Limbe, chaired by the governor of the southwest region.
Those have stabilized a bit here in the southwest. It's a good indication that all the strategies, all the measures put in place are bearing some fruits.
Despite the recent statistics, members of the anti-COVID committee have taken a firm commitment not to relent in their efforts to keep the virus at bay. The evaluation meeting was preceded by the distribution of a consignment of the presidential anti-COVID gift to healthcare personnel in Vidéo.
They have the full equipment to protect them. This is the gateway into our country from the neighboring country, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea. The health personnel here should be more vigilant.
The distribution exercise took place at the Vidéo Frontier Health Post, where the governor also used the opportunity to evaluate the level of implementation of government measures to fight the coronavirus pandemic at the border.
Adamawa Governor Kildadi Tagieke Bukar has told the population of Ngaoundéré that the relaxation of restriction measures in the fight against COVID-19 is in no way a sign that the virus has been conquered. He was speaking while presiding over a ceremony to share the head of state's anti-COVID kits to inhabitants of the Ngaoundéré 3 area. Ellis Wajibanya reports from Ngaoundéré.
Ever since the announcement of some 19 relief measures in the fight against the COVID-19 in Cameroon, so many Ngaoundéré inhabitants have been reacting as though government declared the end of the coronavirus. To make things clear, Adamawa governor has been telling people to remain focused, to always put on their face mask and respect social distancing. This is the key message sent across during the donation of the president's anti-COVID-19 kits to inhabitants of the Ngaoundéré 3 area.
Although that some measures have been uplifted, the population should be more vigilant, should know that they are between south and the north of our country.
The most vulnerable population of all 22 villages that make up the Ngaoundere 3 subdivision are now armed with buckets, soap, hand sanitizers and face masks to stop the spread of the coronavirus.
Similarly, the population of Soa in the Mefwana Famba division of the Central region have been admonished to make valuable use of the special presidential package to fight against the COVID-19. The call was made by the divisional officer of Soa, Belia Ngero, Cyril, while supervising the distribution exercise of the sanitary kits to the different chiefdoms in his subdivision. Gerard Nanji Yambe reports.
These special presidential kits composed of cartons of soap, face masks and disinfectants have come to boost the fight against COVID-19 in Swam, a subdivision that is still to register any mortality of the COVID-19.
We have distributed the hand washing equipment and masks to the people in the different villages. We disinfect the markets and the bus station of the town.
The materials will boost the efforts of caregivers and medical facilities.
In addition to protect our health workers, we're also going to use it to protect the patients, and also the visitors will be coming to the health facilities. All of this will be very useful for us in fighting against the coronavirus.
The divisional officer of SWA, Cyril Belia, who chaired the distribution ceremony, called on the beneficiary population to continue to respect the preventive measures and make good use of the kits in order to bar the way for COVID-19 in the area.
We move over to the locality of Kopdombo subdivision in the Nyong and Fumu division, who have sworn to respect hygiene measures and keep the village free of COVID. The promise was made by the leader of the Women's Association Wednesday while receiving consignments of soap, surgical masks, buckets and disinfectants to help them bar the way to the contagious virus. As Bo Bernard Fonkamota reports, this is part 2 of billion CFA francs countrywide donation offered by President Paul Biya to help Cameroonians face the pandemic.
No COVID-19 cases have been recorded, and the people of Kopdombo wish to maintain this situation. This was the solemn engagement taken by women of the area as they received the President's anti-COVID package.
We should first be grateful to the head of state, and secondly to emphasize all the respect of the barrier measures taken by the government.
The village people and elite listened keenly to medical advice on how to use the 55 boxes of soap, 30 gallons for hand washing, 200 buckets, 50 bottles of disinfectants, and cartons of face masks.
But with this gift, I believe that it's going to help them a lot, since they have a mask that is not used once but reusable. And I think that with this will really help to stop the propagation of coronavirus at the level of the local population in the villages.
You know, all our population is rural. We are living in the rural area. It's sometimes very difficult to get soap in the village. So now I think all the villages have soap, and they are going to use soap to try to stop the COVID-19.
Despite ending COVID restrictions, government is determined to raise awareness and encourage citizens to prevent the spread of the contagious virus.
The Cameroon Business Women's Association has donated hygiene kits to retailers in markets of Yaoundé to help fight against the coronavirus. The association's president, Senator Agnes Ntubendode, says this will ensure that such crowded places should not nurse the virus due to the lack of basic hygiene awareness. Beauty's Law Samba reports that the hygiene and cleaning items donated are in high demand today and cannot be afforded by the most low-income market women. Beatrice?
These packs of hygiene and cleaning kits, which include sanitizers, alcohol-based soaps, and washing cans, are on their way to big markets of Yaoundé City, which, due to their crowded nature, are believed to be inviting to coronavirus. They have been donated to market women by the Association of Business Women in Cameroon, best known by its French acronym, JEFAC.
Women are selling on the floor. That's why we bought them tables, umbrellas, so that the sun should not touch them and rain should not fall on them, and chairs to sit and sell comfortably.
The Bayam Salam is more exposed in the market and they are vulnerable to COVID-19 disease.
The gifts were received by seemingly overjoyed retailers, commonly called Bayam Salam, whose little businesses, they say, can hardly permit them afford these kits, which prices have skyrocketed due to the high demand in crisis time.
Justine Difotunkam is now officially the new board chair of the Telecommunications Regulatory Board. She assumed office today with a call from Post and Telecommunications Minister Minelli Bomley Lincoln, who called on her while commissioning her, to put a special eye on the proper regulation of the activities of mobile telephone operators in the country and enhance the development of the digital economy in Cameroon. Beauty Ngum reports.
The stakes are high, the challenges many, but Justine Difotunkam, new board chair of the Telecommunications Regulatory Board, has been briefed on the task ahead. The Minister of Post and Telecommunications, who commissioned her as board chair of the Telecommunications Regulatory Board Thursday, urged her to improve on the performance of the board.
We think that as the team has been renewed, we are going to have a strong regulator who can really play the key role in the development of digital economy. It's not easy to regulate a sector which is moving so quickly. We hope that things are going to change very quickly.
She is expected to put in place a governance system that will better regulate telecommunications activities in the country, control and follow up the activities of network providers, ensure mobile operators respect consumers' rights, and guarantee the availability of quality services in the sector, among other things.
I have no choice than to build up a natural and efficient relationship for a good management between the board and the directory of the agency.
Justine Difotunkam, the trade unionist and promoter of the platform More Women in Politics, takes over as board chair from Isana Mahamat, called to other duties.
And we round up with this press release from the Ministry of Communication, which reads, the Minister of Communication hereby reminds managers of print and online media houses of the private communication sector wishing to benefit from the institutional support of the state to privately owned media for the 2019 financial year that applications are being submitted at the Department of Private Media Development and Advertising, Room 02, since Monday, April 27th, 2020. The Minister of Communication therefore invites potential applicants to submit their applications files as soon as possible so as to allow their timely processing and the immediate holding of the session of the National Commission for the Scrutiny of Applications for the institutional support of the state to privately owned media organs. And it is signed Rene Emmanuel Sadi, Minister of Communication. It's that note that will end it for today and for this week. Let's do it all over again next week. Bye-bye.